Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Cocoa in the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow, and I am very happy to be here today. I did have a little bit of a snafu yesterday. So I feel like once I learn to maintain myself, stay in a place of contentment and joy while looking forward to the future and being grateful for the past, you know, but living in the present and taking it in for what it is. Once I do that, something comes to off kilter it. I think it's like little tests to master myself and my mood and my joys, and to see if I'm able to take the lessons and what comes up. So yeah, something like that occurred yesterday afternoon. And I would say I haven't felt it as much as I would have maybe a year ago or 6 months ago. Right. The feeling is still there, but it feels somewhat removed. Like I can notice it from far away. And after a few hours and stuff, I look at, okay, why do I feel like this? So I'm able to self-inquire. What is this saying more? This is so weird, right? Like you would think that as soon as something like that happened, I would be able to do that. But no, I'm in the feeling and I'm like, why did this happen? Why? Why? I'm in a good place. Shouldn't it be leading to more things in this good place? And so I'm usually stuck there for a little bit. So it used to be 3 days. A lot of times when it's like old family traumas and stuff, I recognize it. But if it's something that occurs in real time, usually it takes me a good half day to stop and say, okay, what is this trying to say? Why do I feel like this? So something happened in the house. Not to anyone in the house, but a part of the house, right? And I'm like, oh my God, of all the times for this to occur, how am I going to fix this? Right. I really don't know. I really don't know. So I did, of course, try to surrender to the highest good, right? So this is happening for me, not to me. So I'm not seeing it, but this is happening for me, not to me. There's a lesson here, there's a gift here that I can learn from it. I don't know what it is yet, but it will reveal itself, and it's going to work out. It's going to work out better than I think it's going to work out. And, trying to keep maintaining that. At the same time, still going back to how am I going to fix it? Like, what is the solution to this, right? So in between that, and then like the next day, right? I'm like, oh, but why do I feel this way about it happening? I'm judging myself because I can't get it fixed right away, judging myself for like, why can't you, like at this stage in your life, you should be able to know these things are going to happen and you're going to need to do repairs, and you should have like resources to do so. So a lot of self-judgment was coming in, a lot of not feeling good about myself, making myself feel less than. So that came like 12 hours later. It didn't come initially. So initially it was just trying to think it's for the highest, but it'll be sorted while trying to figure out how to solve. And then I was like, okay, if I'm in the moment, what is this moment saying? What am I feeling in this moment? And why am I feeling this way? So more things to clear. So I'm happy that I recognize it. I'm not sure if I've cleared it completely yet, right? I have addressed it. I do my little mirror talks. And I have addressed it for the most part. Still, a solution hasn't dropped in yet. So that's probably because I haven't let it go yet fully. I'm still like, oh my God, I can't believe it's happened now. Um, but so I think as I relax and just allow what this is to be, hopefully a solution appears that I'm not seeing just yet because I'm still somewhat, how could this happen? I'm like 75% through it. But like this 25%, they're like, oh my God, like, why? Even though I know why, but why? Also, I feel like, so yeah, so it's testing your mastering of self, right? Testing of how you're looking at things, how are you staying in, acknowledging the feelings, seeing them, accepting it for what it is. Oh, wow, this thing's doing something with the Zoom. Okay. Seeing what it is, allowing it to be and loving it, and choosing to see it as something good occurring, changing my perspective on it, right? So looking forward to, well, I'll have to get a new one. And I can get one that I want when I do have the money to do so. And it'll be beautiful when it does get replaced. And just like I'm shedding aspects of myself that no longer serve me, the house is shedding aspects of itself that no longer serves it, right? My internal is reflecting in my external. And so I think like it's just, teaching. It's a lesson. Everything's like a lesson. Everything's teaching you something and you getting to see things from a different perspective. Um, and so, but I generally think like when things happen, when things are already shaky, it's like a kind of a test to make sure you can still find joy because what's coming is almost here, and it's just making sure you are in line with it, like you're in the frequency with it, like you're not doubting it's coming, like it's coming. Yes, this bad thing or this inconvenient thing occurred, but it doesn't mean the end of the world, right? It just means it's coming and it's going to be resolved because what you want is coming, So I've noticed that, not just like this time. Like I'm just saying, because it hasn't occurred yet, right? But I want to come in, it hasn't fully come in yet. I know it's coming. I feel like it's coming. I have indications that it's coming. Um, and I feel a lot more secure in that faith. But previously, like in previous times of or transitional times where I am no longer what I used to define myself as. I don't like to define myself. Never really did. But I'm just saying, like, when I'm no longer what I was for like 5 years or so, and I'm changing, I want something new for my life, and I'm in that space of trying to create it. Um, Usually like a lot of inconvenient occurrences happen during that time, and you think this is the absolute like worst time. Like I have so much going on right now. And so this is coming in now. But usually it's really an indication of it's almost here. And just test me to see, yeah, you can stay in a good frame of mind. Do you still trust it's coming? Do you still have faith? Can you still relax? Can you still be at peace? Can you still live in harmony? Can you still find joy in your day? So that's what I noticed. So I think that's what I was having. What started yesterday, I think I'm coming out of it now. I think I really am like 75% past it. I'm still probably have a little more to clear that I'll probably clear in the next day or two. But yeah, I'm glad I recognized feelings I needed to clear about myself, judgments about myself. These judgments would extend to others too, right? So kind of glad I'm clearing that. And learning to at a faster pace with different types of inconveniences, get back to my joys and my peace and securing my faith that things will work out. So That's what I was dealing with. And that's the only thing I have to share right now, that, usually when you're in transition, it feels like a lot of things are going wrong, like everything that could possibly go wrong does go wrong, but it's really not going wrong. It's just showing you stuff about yourself. And it's usually, to me, not to everyone else, I don't want to talk about it, but to me, it's usually a sign that I'm almost into the reality that I want. Like it's not far away. I gotta see, time it though. See how far, like how far away. Trying to think. Like I don't remember all the little things. Like I just have a general like remembrance that things go bad. And I can't believe all these things going bad, and then things pick up, right? But I can't remember like exactly what happened and why, and like how long it took. So, but prior to that, like the week before, something else went down, right? And I found a solution, stayed calm, and I was going to sort that, and it'll be fixed. And I did find a solution. So, the thing with affirmations for me is I'm not, if you don't believe it, it doesn't really work. So I use it after generally clearing what needs to be cleared as a reminder. So it works because I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to work out, like it's fine. I'm just panicking again, but it's fine. It's going to be so good. So it kind of changes my thought pattern. But if I haven't cleared it, it's not going to really change my thought pattern, right? So definitely they work, but to me, they only work after I have really looked at why I feel this way. What does it tell me about myself? What do I need to clear with myself? What do I have to accept about myself? What do I have to love here? What's the gift here? How can I enjoy being in this moment with the situation is as it is? And then like, yeah, it's gonna work out. I know it's gonna work out. It always does. It always works out better than I expected. It's gonna be so good, So that's where I was at. So today we're gonna start the Magdalene manuscript. So last night I was like, the book that there's this other book I want to call the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, which they believe was another book, if not written by Mary Magdalene, related her experiences. And because the Gospel of Mary Magdalene was missing like 6 pages, but I think this one is more complete and it's very similar. The lessons that she was teaching. She basically, I think, talks about 7 things that you need to clear in it. And so one of the books, I was like, maybe we should do that book before we do the Magdalene manuscript. Hold on 1 second. I think I have a napkin. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe we should have done that. So I was looking at the book, but the book is really, I haven't read it, but I listened to part of the Gospel of the Beloved Companion on YouTube. So, or the book, but the book is really, it, first of all, it reads the whole Gospel of the Beloved Companion. And then like it's a lot of different chapters comparing the verses in it to the Gospel of Thomas and Bible verses in an effort to show how some of the passages are very, very similar, to kind of legitimize it then, essentially, to kind of show that it is legitimate, like, it holds some truths. So I was like, should I do that one before? But it's not much of a story, more of a the reading of it's more of a reading of the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, and then a comparison with particular verses between different books. So it's more scholarly than story, I think, is what it is. More research than story. And I really like storytelling. And I really like that human aspect. I love intellect and intelligence and all that's great. So, but I really, really love human connection and stories, right? And metaphors and parables for life and seeing how it all interconnects. So I decided, no, I'm not going to do that one first. I may do it later because I also have the Gospel of Thomas. I think I also have the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. So I think we could probably do that one later if we're looking for something more intellectual to compare and contrast and all that, similarities and differences. But for right now, I just wanted to be fun and light and interesting and intriguing, right? And not like get anyone bored or distracted per se. So that's what I'm thinking. So I think we will just really continue with the Magdalene manuscript as I was going to do. So I don't know if we should start with the introductions. I do think, yeah, we should read the introductions. Tom's introduction and Judy's introduction. Tom Kenyon and Judy Sion. I believe they are in a partnership or were when this book was written. I don't know if they still are or not. A sacred union. There is an invocation of the cosmic mother. What is that? I'm curious. Do I want to read that? Yes, I think I trust it. I think I trust it. This book feels good intentioned and loving. And yeah, let's call it Cosmic Mom and see what she guides us through this. Okay, so the book is the Magdalene Manuscript. The Magdalene Manuscript, The Alchemies of Horus and the Sex Magic of Isis. Kind of exciting. By Tom Kenyon and Judy Sion. Really excited to get cracking with this with you guys. Because although I read it once, so I didn't read certain parts, and whenever I read these things chapter by chapter, I get a lot more out of it because I have to read everything. I can't skip anything. And it's good to talk about it out loud because I find that although I would still get understandings if I was reading it quietly, when I talk things out, seems to clarify a lot for me. I don't know if it's because I'm talking to myself and this camera too. It's like talking to myself, explaining stuff to myself in a way. It's kind of like the mirror thing when I'm clearing stuff. So maybe that's why. I don't know. But anyway, so let's get cracking, guys. It's called, the first thing we're going to read is the invocation of the Cosmic Mother. Okay. I don't really like doing initiations and invocations and stuff like that because I think it gets into religious stuff generally. And if you don't want to hear it, just skip over it. I don't know how it's gonna take like less than 5 minutes. It's not very long. It's like 3 paragraphs or so. So it'll be, I think I need it. I feel like this, I relate to it and it resonates with me. And I feel it'll help me guiding me through reading it and things to share and insights and stuff. So I don't feel scared or funny about it. I don't feel like it's something negative. I feel like it's something positive for me. I'm gonna read it. But if you're not into it, definitely don't listen to anything that you don't think resonates with you. So you can just skip it, okay? Invocation of the Cosmic Mother, written by Judy Sion. O great Mother, divine feminine, birther of the cosmos, lover unto spirit, creatrix of all matter and queen of all worlds within worlds and those without, we call you to us in this hour. We are your children, hear our call. We are the daughters and sons of your divine union, the flesh of your passion for life. You who lay with Spirit, our Father, in the beginning of time, and brought us forth from the blessed union of spirit and matter. We are your children, the sons and daughters of your flesh and your heart, and we remember your touch and the fragrance of your essence, and we long for you. Come to our hearts and gift us the remembering. Come to our minds and open our genius. Enlighten us with your presence. Draw back the veils that we might see and hearken the doors to open, that beauty and ecstasy may live in our homes and hearts more fully. This is our hour of greatest need. We call you through fire and water, through earth and wind, through all that bears your name. We call all your lineages and all your names. Come unto us, come into us, so be it. So that's the invocation. And yeah. Now I'm going to read Tom's introduction to the Mary Magdalene manuscript. There was something I was going to say, so I was looking up, but I can't remember what I was going to say. Yes, that we're matter and spirit. I think I was listening to the same video that I think I recommended last podcast, the Yeshua channelings, and he had explained that we are unique in that we are matter and spirit, that we don't understand how unique we are because we have to harmonize all aspects of our being, our divinity and our humanity, right? Our darkness and lightness together. And that most beings don't have to do that. They don't have emotions and feelings and all these intense things and all this density that we have. And we are actually able to harmonize it. That's like a gift that we have, that we're able to harmonize it and recognize it and love it. And I was like, whoa, like I never knew that. And I digress. So when she said spirit and matter, it kind of like reinforced that we are spirit and matter, density and light. Thought and emotion, thought and feeling. Doing and not doing. Receivers and action. Intuition and doing. We are like so much of the paradox in one. And we're all of it. We're all of it. I think we really are interesting beings. Anyway, Tom's introduction to the Magdalene manuscript. Personally, I wanted to say thank you to the commenter on my last YouTube video. You don't know how that made my day, okay? On top of dealing with all the little repair stuff in the house, your message came at a time and I was like, what am I doing? Really? Because sometimes I doubt, less more so, but I still am like, yeah, what am I really doing? Right? Following the joys of your heart, girl, you got bills to pay. Like, you live in a reality where you have to do things in order to live life, right? And because I'm trying to undo that and see where the heart joys lead, and just trusting and being effortlessly brings to me what's best for me. I'm sometimes like, yo, if you playing games in your head, life is like, going on, you gotta check yourself. So, but your comment came and I really needed to hear it at that time, that, doing the podcast meant something. I think Yes, Mary Ann Clutter. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that comment. Because it's like, okay, somebody is looking at the videos and you may not have the same journey, but maybe you have the same questions and we can help clarify together, right? We can come to understandings together. We both have. So it just helped me feel more more at peace with, yeah, following the choice of your heart is where it's at. Like you need to just, I just love doing the podcast. It's not monetized. I don't know how to monetize things. I just do it because I really like doing it. I really like reading these books. And I like doing the podcast. I like talking about it. I mean, I haven't anyone to talk to about it yet, but I want to have people to talk to about it. So I gotta be comfortable with with myself talking, right? And not be codependent. And then the people who are meant to come on and talk will come and stuff like that. So the message meant so much to me because I'm like, nobody's saying this. Nobody cares. But I still do because I love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really needed to hear that today because of what I was dealing with, all the things that was clearing. It helped recognize that, yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. So thank you, Marianne Clutter. Okay, Tom's introduction to the Magdalene manuscript. He starts off, personally, I have tremendous challenges with the manuscript. That's why I like this writer, because he's like really honest on channelings and to use your own discretion. He doesn't say what I'm channeling is completely correct. He's like, I don't know either. I think it feels right to me. It's showing that it's true in my life when I put this into practice. But you tell me, is it working for you? Does it resonate for you? You check it out and let's together see if this is really a true thing, if it works. Anyway, so he says, personally, I have tremendous challenges with this manuscript. For one, it is channeled, and I thought that I had left that kind of writing behind me after I finished the Hathor material. For me, channeling is a questionable activity. It reminds me of this sane nets people cast in the waterways of the Camargue in southern France, an area believed by many to be where Magdalene came ashore. Along the banks, large nets sit in the river, or occasionally someone cranks a hoist and pulls the net out of the water to see what got caught. I think channeling is a lot like this. There are currents within our psyches. They carry a hodgepodge of things. Some of them interesting, some of them worthless, and some of them downright strange. Sometimes the channeling net catches something of unquestionable value, but often it is mixed with a bunch of junk. My first experience with channeling was in the late 70s. A friend of mine happened to be a medical researcher at Duke University, and we conducted a series of informal experiments on the phenomenon. Since I worked with hypnosis in my psychotherapy practice, we decided to see what might emerge from hypnotic states in relation to channeled material. The very first evening, we made contact with an immense intelligence that we euphemistically called Big Dude. I have quite an irreverent streak, and anyone who knows me will attest to this. Big Dude spoke in a characteristically grand style typical of channeled entities or intelligences. It spoke about possible exchanges and it spoke about the interconnectedness of the universe. While the transcripts of the talks were intriguing, both my friend and I agreed that there was nothing of real substance. And after 3 months of meeting once every 2 weeks or so, we dropped the experiment. As a psychotherapist working in the area of transpersonal psychology for many years, I have seen a lot of patients who channeled. Some of them were quite comfortable with it, some were quite disturbed by it. Like the woman in her late 40s who was awakened at 3 every morning for the last year. She would sit pen in hand and scribble out messages from the other side. The other side of what is the question? Her transcriptions talked about the power of love to heal. Sometimes they offered some decent solutions to problems. Sometimes, quite frankly, they said some very strange things. Strange is, of course, a relative term. What is strange to one person may seem quite reasonable to another. The cultural filters we use to sieve our experiences are often arbitrary and based on inherited nonsense. My task as a psychotherapist was to help my channeling clients make sense out of their transpersonal babble. I use these words on purpose. The collective consciousness, the collective unconscious is filled with all sorts of things. The psychological entities that reside there are varied, like the characters in real life. Some of these denizens from the collective are brilliant and well-intentioned. Some of them are idiots masquerading as spiritual beings. There is a tremendous increase in channeling among both laypersons and professionals alike. I think it is just a sign that as a collective, we are beginning to gain access to our psychological and spiritual depths. Many people are having spiritual emergencies in which their views of the world are quickly and radically altered by peak spiritual experiences. I believe that we will be seeing even more of these psycho-spiritual crises over the next several decades as the new mythos within our collective begins to surface. Channeling within this context is nothing more than a message from the deep. But like the summer fishing holes of my youth, some of the things down there are not worth fishing for. But still, they come to the surface of the mind like an old shoe or a rusted beer can. One of the tasks for anyone faced with channeling is to separate the valuable from the inane, the uplifting from the dangerous. Just because the information is coming from the other side should not imbue it with any more authority than the words from someone down the street. In fact, when someone hands me something that tells me that it has been channeled, my guard goes up. And when a being from the other world shows up on my doorstep, so to speak, I look for logical inconsistencies. I lay traps. If they pass these tests, I am more likely to consider what they are telling me. But I am the final judge. If what they say does not make sense to me, I dismiss it. And so, in the midst of my immense resistance to the channeling phenomena, Magdalene showed up one night in Zurich, Switzerland. My partner, Judy, had asked me to see if I could get anything about the Magdalene since we were shortly going to be in Saint Mary's de la Mer, the site where Magdalene supposedly landed after the crucifixion. I closed my eyes and entered a light hypnotic trance. Immediately, a being appeared in my mind's eye and announced that she was the Magdalene herself. She began to dictate the manuscript you now hold in your hands. Over many sessions, she spoke with an undeniable clarity and urgency. Every word was precise, and the feeling in the room during these sessions were electric. The feeling in the room during these sessions was electric. Now, several months later, as I look at the manuscript with a critical eye, I am struck by several things. The first is a personal dread at adding to the glut of channel books. That's the last thing any of us need, I tell myself. But the material is like nothing I have ever seen. As a student of internal alchemies for over 3 decades, I have been fascinated by the similarities as well as the differences between the world's alchemical traditions. And I have made it one of my personal quests to experience a vast array of alchemical methods for transforming and elevating consciousness. From this perspective, the techniques offered by the Magdalene are quite extraordinary. As a spiritual pragmatist, I have always tried everything myself. If it works, I keep it. If it doesn't, I toss it out. I have personally used the techniques Magdalene describes, and they work. They work extraordinarily well. In fact, I can honestly say that practicing them has enhanced all of my other alchemical practices, regardless of the lineage from which they come. All of this led me to one final logical conclusion. For those fellow students of alchemy, for those seeking deeper experiences of spiritual transformation, and for those who desire sacred relationship, this material may well prove invaluable. For this reason, I have decided to release the manuscript. There are still some problems for me. I am a stickler for accuracy, and there's no way to verify if the story is true or not. There are so many versions of the Magdalene legend, and it happened so long ago, I suspect we will never know for sure, at least from an objective view. At least from an objective view. I found the story Magdalene painted during the sessions extremely evocative. Parts of it I still do. However, the bulk of the story is to me just another story. Could be true, could be false. As a person firmly anchored, some would say marooned on the shores of logic, I can't say whether the story is true or not. And this disturbs me, but I can say that the methods she shares and the insights she offers are extraordinary. And so for me, as I sorted through the manuscript, I put the story back in the river and kept the methods. I ask you to do the same. Read this with your own heart and mind. Keep what is of value for you and leave the rest. I realize that this book may very well be controversial in many circles. Still, I think it is right to release this manuscript into the world. If it does nothing more than get us to question the various issues it brings up, then I think the book's existence will be justified. It is, after all, a time for all of Christendom to question its misappropriation of the feminine. For those seeking a deeper understanding of internal alchemy as a means to transform consciousness, I believe the material unquestionably stands on its own. During my rereading of the manuscript, a funny thing happened. So get this, here I was looking at the material with a rational and critical mind, as I considered whether to publish it or not. Isis appears to me. Yes, Isis. She asked me to finish the book as soon as possible. What's a guy to do? The island of Paros, the Cyclades, Greece, August 2001. So this book was written 23 years ago. Wow. So I'm going to read Judy's introduction as well. And then, I don't know, if it feels okay, I saw chapter 1. If it feels like too much to do in one way, I won't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think maybe we can do maybe one. I don't know. I will say when I read the book the first time, it did feel like a connection that I never had before with Mary Magdalene. Like in dreams, it was like a calmness, a gentleness, a strength, a love seeing things in a way more loving way. Similar to the feelings I had when I had the experience with Jesus in the hypnosis and another meditation and in dreams. So I don't know if this will happen to you. It'd be kind of cool if you guys experience anything different or new. It's always a beautiful experience. Always like, wow. Um, I really like her energy, or the energy that I've experienced that registers to me as her. And I feel very connected to her. You know, whether she's a teacher or a guide for me, I don't know, but she does show up at times. Yeah, and I feel really, really connected to her. And all that connection started with this book. So I do think the book has some truth in it. A lot of it resonates with me. A lot of the story I loved. And what can I say? Showed love in such a beautiful way. Anyways, you guys will have your own experience with it. If you do, if from the reading you learn something, or you have an experience, or you have a dream after hearing it, or anything you want to share, please share it in the comments. I want to hear. I'm not the only one that had these experiences. Anyways, so I'm going to read Judy's introduction. Judy's introduction to the Magdalene manuscript. It was a chilly night, hung with heavy fog in Zurich, Switzerland. We'd had a splendid dinner at our favorite Thai restaurant next door to the Alstadt Hotel, and we had time on our hands. It was a rare window in our lives. It was Thursday, November 30th, 2000. So 24 years ago. 24 is my favorite number because my birthday is the 24th of January. I love the number 24. I feel like it's a complete number, like 12 is, but it's like a double completion. I don't know. I really love 24. 24 means a lot. When I see 24, I know good things are coming. So it's kind of cool. This book was written 24 years ago. Synchronicities. Anyway, we'd had a splendid dinner at our favorite. Oh, I forgot that. No, I'll tell you. I've had a growing passion for the Magdalene, both as an archetype and Magdalene the being. Who was she really? So much we live with every day in this civilization is based upon the church's branding of her, and ergo all of the feminine as whores, as shameful. Because of this branding, no less than holding down divinity and burning a hot iron into her flesh, the feminine has carried shame and been held as less than for over 2,000 years. There is certainly no basis, there is absolutely no basis for the church labeling her as a whore. Not one word from the original text supports such accusations. It was, in fact, the Council of Nicaea, under orders from Emperor Constantine, that chose the prostitute spin to support the patriarchy, depose the authority of the feminine, shame all that is feminine, and unite the many diverse religions and the popular upstart religion called Christianity, all for the sake of Rome, for the sake of government. So Judy is coming out, Judy is not mincing any words, okay? She is not happy with how Magdalene has been described, okay? I like this. She's direct. She's calling it as it is. She's calling a spade, okay, with this religion. Their grounds for branding Mary Magdalene a whore, jealousy and fear of the power of the feminine, especially the kind of power that Magdalene had. I have never believed that we were born in sin, and I have never believed that Mary Magdalene, hence all women in her stead, were whores. what I have never bought, and I have never bought the image of Jesus Christ as a pious celibate, holier than thou, fanatic, evangelical. I had followed the trail of the Magdalene through southern France years before, and I wanted to take Tom on the same route my heart had found to retrace my steps with my beloved, 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 beloved. What a word. Beloved came into my vocabulary way before I found this book in August and September. So don't want to digress here. So what happened was when I did the, I have to talk about it because the word is major for me. I love this word, like beloved. I don't have not met my beloved yet, but I know who it is. And this sounds really crazy. Okay, so when I did the QHHT hypnosis, which is the quantum healing hypnosis therapy, developed by Dolores Cannon, and I did that in March of 2023. One of the questions was, because I don't have a partner, like, what is the issue? Why don't I have a partner? Right? I wanted to know. And what I got back was I had a past life before where I had to get married and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I wanted a life where I could do whatever I wanted to do and didn't have to get married. Which essentially is kind of what I'm doing now. But it just feels or felt before, because I wasn't truly following what I wanted to do. I was doing what society deemed as a good life, but it really wasn't fulfilling me, right? That's another story. So the lady, and I bless her heart, her name is Gladys Bermudez. She is in Miami. If you ever can Google her to do a QHHT therapy, if you want to, her prices were reasonable because they have some people that charge like 800, and I think she was charging about 300 for it. But Gladys Bermudez in Miami, she's really good. She such a kind and loving lady. When my consciousness was saying no, well, she picked this for herself, so she would have this life and this freedom of life. Gladys continued asking, and this wasn't in my thing. She continued asking, yeah, but still, can she not have like a companion? Like, and the response was, the aspect of myself that was responding was, yes, if she loves herself enough, she will draw to her a companion that will love her and help also contribute to her own self-love. But she has to love herself enough. Everything always comes back to that self-love, right? I didn't even know I wasn't loving myself enough. So came out of that and had the intention of learning to love myself more and how to love myself more, which was, really paying attention to myself, really looking at myself, looking at all my aspects, physical, emotional, my behaviors, and loving it. Even if it wasn't what I wanted to be at that time, loving it as it was, understanding why I was there, and knowing that that was enough, that was enough, and accepting it. And what happens is once you accept that, it transmutes. I don't know how it's resolved, that self-acceptance, that love of self, even if in imperfection. And then you just love yourself more, all the imperfections. And then the imperfections seem to not exist or exist less. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So I came out of that with that. And so this was March of 2023. In August 2023. So I did this other course called with the Little Soul School with Laura Cole. And they have a free program to teach you how to go into your Akashic records. And so I did that. It's like a little online video. You can do it and it's free. You can sign up for that anytime. It's called the Little Soul School. I think I could pull it up for you if you guys want to see it. But anyway, I did that and I kept going into my Akashic record. So Laura goes says like, you can't ask them when you're going to meet the love of your life or whatever, but you can ask like what's blocking you, what do you need to clear now, like what's good to learn now about yourself, about your aspects of your life from previous lives is good to know, like stuff like that. So I had gone in and I had asked um who why wasn't working out with anyone, like what was blocking me from a partner in life, a companion, right? Beloved was not on my vocabulary at all. And it showed me a massive lollipop. You know those lollipops? I think they sell in Disney. They're cute, swirly lollipops, big, massive. But it doesn't really taste good, right? So it was kind of, but like, so when it shows you the image, you also get like an understanding of an image. It's kind of like how the dreams work too. Like I'll get a dream and I kind of have an understanding of what the dream. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. But mostly like I kind of know what it means. So show me like this massive lollipop but that it tasted bad. Like they look pretty, but it tastes bad. It was like telling me like you like things that look good, but are not good for you, that have no substance, that taste bad. It just look good. It don't even feel good. Like, I was like, damn, they're not playing with me. They're letting me know, but in the coolest way. Like, what my issue was. And it's true, it's very true, is very true. I don't want to like say any names of, but in my past relationships, I don't have many, right? I had one, I really, really loved this guy. And I like him physically attracted. Um, but nothing about that relationship felt good. And I stayed there for so long. Okay. Nothing about the relationship felt good. Like nothing. When I look at it now, I don't even know why I did that. I would say I was young. I was in like 20. It lasted from like 19 till about 29, maybe off and on, horrible, toxic. Not just him. I contributed to with expectations, being naive, you know, unrealistic, um, not wanting to see things as they were, um, you know, and he wasn't very nice. He was not very nice to me at all. And I remember I was like, it's so true. I remember too, I had a relationship before my first relationship, and he was way nicer to me. He treated me so well. And initially, I don't think I was physically attracted to him in the beginning. But when you fall in love with someone, everything about them ends up being attractive. And that's what happened. So he was really nice to me. I ended up falling in love with him, first boyfriend. And he was just really good to me, like really good to me. We broke up because one, we were too young. And of course, like we went to different places to live, right? We ended up in different places. But I still feel love for that guy, not the same love, but I always have a fond place in my heart. And that relationship felt good. And once you fall in love, like he looked good and it was more nurturing and more caring. And of course we had ups and downs, but he wasn't mean. Like the other guy was like mean. Okay. And mean because of course I allowed it to happen for so long. Me probably because he wanted out and he didn't know why I was still there. I wonder why I was still there. I know why. And I give myself grace for that, right? So, but beyond that, so they were not wrong. The Akashic record wasn't wrong. It was showing me why I wasn't um what was blocking me, right? I was looking for things that looked good and not that were not good. They just looked good. And so that was one. And then out of the blue in August, I had a dream. Dreams work for me. I don't know how it works for other people, but I had a dream. It didn't show me who it was, but it said, um, I can't remember what it said, but it showed me um an issue that he had. It said, the person that's for you, right? Your yeah, the person that is for you, he has this issue. I don't want to say what it is, but I remember in the dream being, I don't care. I didn't know who it was. I was just like, I don't care. I can love him through that. I can understand that because that's an issue that I had myself in a different form, of course, but I understood it and I understood how it would make him feel and I could be sensitive to it. And it was like a sensitivity that he had. I was like, I don't care. I can deal with that. And I think once I was like open to it, and in the dream, that's how I responded in my mind. In the dream, that's how I responded. I don't care. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Right. It wasn't something that because what I had experienced with that guy before. That was nothing. And also this was explaining to me probably, root causes for sensitivities that he would have. And I would be able to understand why he would respond to things a certain way or be sensitive about certain things because I had those same sensitivities. It just came in a different way, but I also had the same thing. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I can do that in a dream. So it still didn't show me who it was, right? And then I went into the Akashic again and asked who, this was weeks later, like this is over time, who it was. And they showed me who it was. And I was like, it can't be that person. Because the person they showed me, I'm like, oh my God, I would never have thought it was that person. But that person, actually, when I think about it, I find him really beautiful. I don't know all of his personality, but I know aspects of his personality. And I know like aspects of his personality I found really beautiful and his physicality as well. But more so the physicality that he has, right? Aspects of his physicality were aspects of things that were familiar to me my whole life that I didn't know resonated so deeply with me, right? So I can't describe, I don't want to go into it, but just how he walks, um, certain aspects of how he's built, certain aspects of it wouldn't be things that I would have thought I would have found beautiful until they showed it to me. And I was like, yeah, I really do like that. Yeah. I have so many people in my life that look like that were dear to me, that were good to me, like resonated with me. Yes, I really like that. I didn't know I liked that. Oh, yeah. So, but then I was like, nah, it can't be that person. Like, and I was like, okay, if it's this person, I accept it. But if it's not him, but he's just like similar to who it is, I'm okay with that as well. If you're just showing me this, just tell me like it's kind of like this person, but it's not exactly him, but he's like this. And this is the only way you can communicate that, then I'm okay with that too. Right. And after that, it was like more and more confirmation that it was that person. True synchronicities, true things they show you, through dreams, through understandings. I learned different things about him, things I don't think he may not fully understand about himself, that they show you that it's just like weird. So in one of them, one of the dreams, they say you're beloved. That's why that word means a lot to me, because it's not a word I use. And then when I'm writing the book and then she calls Jesus a beloved, I was like, okay, it's like a sacred pairing, a sacred union. So I think it's really specific that nothing's like an accident. I will say though, I have not met him yet in real life. And the understanding I have with that is really and truly I would love to meet him and see how I grow from that experience, but also understanding that it is a co-creation, right? And he has to also be aligned. I don't know like what's going on in his life and how that's unfolding for him, but he also has free choice as I do and free will as I do. So if he chose not to have this experience this lifetime, understanding that that's fine as well, that would be fine. And then there would be another companion for me that's compatible. I probably wouldn't have the same experience or the depth of experience or the growth I could have had with him. But I would still have a really good experience with someone else if it were to be that he had his attention and direction somewhere else, and that's what he wanted, and that would be fine. I think what it showed me too was that I wasn't preoccupied with my needs being met, more so as concern with if he's happy and what makes him happy and him having his own joys and not wanting to contribute in any way to anything that destroyed his happiness in any way. So like I see a lot of these things about twin flame. I saw this like twin flame cult thing on HBO. I think they had like a documentary on it. And I'm like, all the things like they're telling the person that is who it is, like you need to go there and stalk this person was insane. Because I think it's generally works out how it's supposed to, effortlessly, and you don't have to force anyone to like you. And they choose to have a different experience, that's fine. Your life would still have value, right? It would still be some lessons that you would learn, probably different ones, but just as valuable. So like my understanding of it was that also it didn't make me feel I have to have him and only him and that's it, right? It was like, yo, it'll be so cool. I can see all the ways that we will connect and I can see all the ways this could be good. But also like I completely understand if he never gets there. And if that, and so I always say like, if this is to be, then I'm open to it. But if it's not to be, then please, if there's another companion that works out, I'm open to that as well. But yeah. So, but what they've showed me about him, it's very, very, I don't want to say perfect because nothing's perfect, and they show me his imperfections too. And I still think his imperfections are just perfect for me. Like his flaws are just perfect for me. But yeah, they show you different things. They show you different things. This in dreams and in movies, in videos, in just thoughts that drop in. Yeah, this person is this way. How would you deal with this situation if it were to occur? Like he is like he enjoys this. Do you enjoy it? How would you deal with that? His self-expression is this, right? And some of these things you would judge. Some of it you'll be like, oh hell no. And then you'll be like, you know what? This is how he self-expresses, then that would be fine. If he did this, I would do that. Like it would be fine. I don't care. Such a small thing. So it also clears things for you, judgments about yourself and about others and all of that. So, but again, still in the process, have not met this person. But I do think too, it opens up interaction with your guides and your angels because you ask questions and you get answers. I think it also solidifies that whole reveal of who it is and their aspects and stuff, and showing you things that you wouldn't normally know about someone. Deepens your own relationship with yourself, with your intuition, with your guides, with your angels, with your divine, eternal self, whoever it is, you know, good things. And also, like, to me, it's always like true things, right? Honest things, authentic things, but always in a light of expanding yourself. So I wouldn't say it's always good things that you see or you experience, even about yourself, right? Because I had a dream last night that let me know that I gossip. They always let me know something about myself, right? They let me know my beauty and my love and, you know, my why I'm so special and stuff. But they also let me know you're also this, you're not just one thing, you're all these things, you know. So I will say, like, all the insights, whether it's for the partner or for myself, are always honest, true things. I don't want to say it's always good things, but it's always from an aspect of expanding my love and self-acceptance and acceptance of others. And so that's why I don't think it's anything bad or evil or anything like that. That I have experienced. It's always been a way to expand myself in love, always. And always true, authentic, honest things, never in a mean way, never in a mean way, you know, in a factual way, you know, even, but always like in a loving way, but factual. This is what you are, but with love, you know, you're like this because such and such, and you're only human and you've only experienced this, and this is all you know. And so that's how you interpreted that, and that's how you got here. But you don't have to always be here. You can love yourself there, but be like, I don't have to be that anymore because I understand that that story I was telling myself isn't true, you know? So anyway, I sidetrack onto this whole thing. So yeah, it's still an experiment in a way for me. I don't know where it's gonna lead, but every time I doubt it, every time I say, well, it's okay if it's not him, like I don't mind if, you know, whoever else it's supposed to be, you know, at the right time. There's more that I need to work on myself and my self-love before, more I need to know about myself before. That's fine too, whatever pace it takes. They send me a confirmation of, no, it's him. So I'm trusting and believing. I'm trusting and believing for a lot of things, y'all. Okay. So let's see if it comes to fruition, you know. I do believe if it doesn't come to fruition, something that's better for me will, though. I don't think any more about it. It'll be less than. I always think of things, well, it's probably something more perfect for me, something I'd enjoy more on the way, you know. Anyway, let me get back to the book. So she says, I had followed the trail of Magdalene through southern France years ago, and I wanted to take Tom on the same route my heart had found to retrace my steps with my beloved. But I was afraid to trust my own heart, and I desperately wanted more background. I wanted the story. I wanted more than story. I wanted the truth. I remember telling Tom that I would only consider validity in the story he brought through because I so value his integrity and his ability to contact true source. And so I asked him if he'd ever consider contacting her. Now, I need to tell you that Tom Kenyon does not like to channel. The scientist and the mystic do frequent battle internally, and I love them both equally. So I usually stand back and watch the scientist ultimately yield to the sweet light of truth that the mystic can evoke. And in the dance that prevails, in the end, the world is presented great teachings. Cloaked in the veil of science, the ignorant of this time demand. So be it. Cloaked in the veil of the science that the ignorant of this time demands. So be it. But this night, for whatever reason, Grace was standing by and she was on my side. I asked if he would consider trying to contact Mary Magdalene. And he said, yes. When? I held my breath. How about now? He lay back on the bed and I grabbed the laptop. He quickly moved aside and the hackers came to assist by adjusting his neurology, which they frequently do to quiet the scientist who protests too much. And she entered. The room swelled with power and an intensity of electricity that I felt in my fingertips. My fingers trembled on the keys when she began to speak. It was as if all of eternity reached out and closed the gap of time. She was there, we were there, the house glass cracked and time suspended. I hope I never forget hearing her words. I swear I will never forget to be grateful for her truth, for Tom's open heart, for Yeshua's honor, and for the trust that she extended to me in telling her story. She continued over a beloved story. Beloved is stuck with me because that word. Anyway, she continued over a period of weeks as we traveled along Switzerland, the Italian Alps, and down across Tuscany. She came through on a boat from Genoa, Italia to Palermo, Sicilia. And when Sicilia turned out not to be where we were meant to winter, she visited us on the boat from Livorno to Malta. Oddly enough, within sight of where she landed to reprovision on her trip from Egypt to France, she uttered the words, "We are complete," just before Christmas 2000. Every night before she began, she made me read back what I had taken down from the previous visit. She corrected any word I hadn't gotten correctly and altered an occasional word, clarifying here and there. And before she left us each night, she asked me to read back what she'd given that night. Many nights she waited at a particularly poignant juncture in her story while Tom emotionally experienced her story as she told it, emitting moans and little whimpers. She would say to me, "This channel is feeling the emotion of what I am telling you." My heart goes out to Tom that he felt, even for a moment, what it must have been like for her to love a man as she loved Yeshua and to lose him to death for the sake of all humankind. And my heart goes out to Yeshua, only now after hearing and knowing her story is the truth. He loved her so, he almost didn't do what he came to do. When we left Malta in the spring, the computers were safely packed and shipped home. I hand-carried a disc with the manuscript on it with me everywhere, along with a hard copy. Thus, Magdalene went with us into Russia, the Ukraine, back to Germany and Switzerland and Venetia. And then it landed, so to speak, back in Sainte Marie de la More, where she landed in southern France. The disc and hard copy waited patiently in my suitcase while we toured René Le Chateau and imagined how the Pyrenees must have looked when she dared to brave the wilds of those majestic peaks. And finally, at our tiny apartment overlooking the Mediterranean on the island of Paros in the Cyclades, she came back once more to answer some questions about specific words in the manuscript. Until we received her permission, we did not change one single word, not even a simple and obvious change in tense. And she thanked us for our impeccability. I figured if the ignorance we've had to live with for 2,000 years was a result of someone editing Yeshua's words badly, I wanted to do my best to see that no one could possibly misunderstand what she was saying now in setting the story straight. I asked her several personal questions that I knew someone would ask us when we presented this manuscript. I know the questions some of you hold in your hearts, and I asked her what to say to you when you ask us those questions. Frequently, she said, "Tell them Mary Magdalene has no comment." The questions she did answer are in the last section at the back of the book. We approached her one more time in Orcas Island. She spoke about the critical importance of the manuscript and its significance in the return of the cosmic mother. She said, for the whole of the earth, for the galaxy, for the universe, and those contiguous. She said she would call people to this truth from all over the world, and those who were ready would find the manuscript one way or the other. She congratulates you for hearing the call, and she thanks you from the bottom of her heart on her behalf and on behalf of the Cosmic Mother for being here. She says nothing will ever be the same. Orcas Island, October 2001. So those are both the introductions to the manuscript. I feel like I will wait to start chapter 1 in the next podcast because I feel like I talked a lot today about my own stuff. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I really love this book, that at least the parts of it that I have read. And it really confirmed or clarified a lot of stuff for me personally. And I really feel connected to Magdalene. And ever since reading this book, really like, and it's true, it comes to you, it comes to the book comes to you when you need it, because I had never heard of Tom Kenyon before. All of a sudden I had a YouTube video about Tom Kenyon talking about the Hathors. And the Hathors were the first goddess, self-confident, accept your beauty guys that I had. And saw a video on YouTube with Tom Kenyon, then Googled his books. And I was like, oh, the Magdalene manuscript. But I ordered both books, the Hathor material and the Magdalene manuscript at the same time, with the Hathor material being what I was really interested in. And the book that came first, that arrived first, was the Magdalene manuscript. And from the time I saw it, I was like drawn to it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to read this one. And a few weeks later, the other one came. But I just think like it's just really weird how it came and what book I read first, and how it all worked out, because she's saying here, like, it'll get to you at the time you're supposed to get it. And yeah, it clarified some things, because even though I knew I had a beloved, and I still believe it'll come to fruition when it's supposed to, in the time that's right, and divine timing. And until then, allowing and enjoying my time discovering myself. I didn't know much about sacred union. And the way I knew I had a sacred union and the beloved was a sacred union was I was doing these angel cards that I have. And it said sacred union. And I was like, what is the sacred union? Because, I see twin flame all the time. And the cards had said sacred union. So then I Googled sacred union. And I was like, oh, and then in this book, they talk about sacred union. So I thought it was weird that I got the inkling about a beloved, then I got an understanding of the sacred union, and then the book came, which like describes what sacred union is like. So all of these things, these synchronicities, I believe and I trust I believe and I trust them. I just don't think those things happen just by chance, you know? But again, only time will tell. A time that I'm enjoying and I'm letting it be the gift that it is. I'm not rushing anything. Enjoying the space that I'm in. Anyways, so that's it for today. The next episode, and I'm excited to do this book with you guys. I think I'm more excited than any of the other books, if that's possible, to do the Magdalene manuscript. Especially feel excited today about it. Really looking forward to when we start the chapters. So let's see what we learn together, what new things I learned, stuff that I skipped that I have to read. All the gems that are in there. Anyways, wishing you a great day, a wonderful Wednesday, wishing you lots of love, knowing that you are loved and that you are loved and you're gentle with yourself and you accept yourself. A better relationship with yourself, learning more things about yourself to love and accept. And understanding yourself more. It all starts there. Hope you have a great day and we will talk again soon. We have another episode coming up this week. So that's good news, right? Today's Wednesday, so I'll do one by Friday, another one by Friday. Anyways, bye guys.